Remember like it was yesterday. Being sarcastic because the guard told me that, welcome to Vietnam, and I said, verbatim, I never signed up for the draft. I remember them taking me to Unit 1. They beat me so bad that I didn't even remember what happened or where I was until 90 days later.
Rikers is a nightmare.
Rikers is dangerous.
Sadness.
Full of hate.
Rikers is a black hole.
Rikers is humbling.
Lawless too.
I hated it. I hate that place.
On any given day, Rikers Island Jail in New York City confines nearly 8,000 people. Conditions on the island are brutal, horrific, worse than most prisons where inmates serve long sentences after a conviction. But Rikers is a jail where 80% of the people locked up are awaiting their day in court and have not been convicted of a crime. They are innocent in the eyes of the law. These are the stories of the men, women, and family members who endured and survived Rikers Island.
You know, everybody has a story. Everybody has a walk that impacts their thinking.
Going to Rikers Island, going over that bridge feels like one of the longest bridges I ever took in my life.
Going across the bridge, all you hear was that the CO was telling you, welcome to Gladiator School, welcome to the Rock.
So you get a mental image of what to expect when you get there, but it's nothing like when you really get there.
1 in 3 detainees at Rikers is there because they have been charged with misdemeanors, which are low-level crimes. But investigations into Rikers Island recently have found many human rights violations, including unnecessary and excessive force by corrections officers, sexual abuse and assault of female detainees by male guards, and widespread violations of the civil rights of teenagers.
15 years old, my innocence was raw for me.
Before that, I was this student that went to South Africa in first year college. He got the United Nations Gift of Giving Award, and he's got all these things going for him. And now I'm here in jail. How did that happen? And addictions is addictions, and things happen.
Even though he was charged with a crime, my son was never a criminal. He never had a criminal record at all. But he learned how to understand criminal mind and how to survive pretty much in there.
Well, what happens is a lot of times you are subjected to getting raped in the bathroom. I had to have survival sex in the bathroom.
I wasn't even scared. I felt helpless. Like, I didn't know what to do. That's when I really realized, you on your own on the island.
Andrew went into Rikers with stage 4 cancer when he got in there. But they wasn't able to give him the medication he needed due to it being very expensive. So my phone calls were painful because every day he was calling, crying, he was in pain. I went to visit my son. My son was bed bugs bitten all over him. He was deteriorating every day in jail. And that, as a mom, worst feeling ever. And as I think about it now, I still get angry.
Still, the number one story that really bothers me is them walking around while we're going to the bathroom, knowing that we're going to the bathroom and kind of standing there staring in the window at you. And it wasn't just me that they did that to, they did it to a lot of us. Essentially, he could do whatever he wanted to, and he could make you feel less than a woman, basically. You definitely felt sexually exploited.
In 2015, New York City found that 1,500 men and women on Rikers had waited more than a year for their trial. That's over 700 days of violence. Over 700 days of dreams deferred. Over 700 days for innocence to be lost. Many feel trapped, and so they plead guilty before ever having their day in court.
My son ended up staying in Rikers Island for 6 years, waiting for trial. He thought that he was gonna die there.
I knew that taking a plea wasn't gonna be my key to freedom, but I knew it was my key out of Rikers Island, which was the only freedom that mattered to me at that point.
I said, I don't care. Just get me out of here. I will cop out to anything just to go. I'll still deal with the trauma. Trauma is real. I don't care what nobody says, trauma is real.
Any little thing to pop back in your head and take you back to that one place that you hated the most.
Not only did they take my child, but they took my faith in the system, and my son is dead. And I didn't get my last years with him. So I have my days, but I keep moving. This is the new me.
"10 years of waiting to close Rikers means 10 years of more dreams deferred. I have seen how Rikers Island has destroyed communities. I've seen how people come back to the Bronx and come back to communities all across the city, and they're different, and they are changed, and they are fearful, and they're hesitant to go and walk down the block, and they look at parole officers and the regular cops and the community in a different way. How do we allow this to continue?